starts talking about Pokemon Go. He starts talking about always charging fine. It generates some heat, but he never uses it to the point of slowing down.
So he's saying security updates and stability updates don't matter. It's okay if the computer crashes all the time.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the iTunes Fanboy Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Maggart from the iTunes Fanboy.
I'm Tabby Cat or TC Tech.
My name is Alpha DeWolf.
And as always, excusing my horrible hair, let's get started with our first podcast topic, which is that the HomePod Mini's space gray color was replaced with midnight.
Of course. Why is Apple doing this midnight thing again? I'm just kind of confused here.
Just call it black, Apple. Just call it black.
It's basically black printer ink mixed with it's like a little bit of that blue type of ink got in, but just like a drop or two. It's basically you take a black cartridge of ink and you put a little bit of I don't know, what do they call it? Cyan ink. And
cyan,
yeah, and it's basically that.
Yeah, just call it the black HomePod, Apple.
I feel like that would confuse a lot less people.
Oh yes, it would.
I'm still trying to figure out.
Just like how they should call it.
I'm looking at the comparisons between the new and the old. I don't know if it's something that you have to see in person, which usually that's not the case. You can usually tell on the website that there's a clear difference. I can't tell the difference at all between the two. I think all they changed was just the name.
Neither can I.
They might have.
So do I, as I can't tell any difference.
I would
either.
not be
Someone
shocked
send
if all they did
two
was change the name.
screenshots. Someone send 2 screenshots. Screenshot of the old one and the new one, so I can see.
Let me see. Don't need my private tabs. Google. Come on. All right.
Looks no different to me.
Okay, so here's them side by side.
Oh, so it does look like the one on, I guess, my
don't know if
right
that's
is a little
lighting.
darker. It might have been a reflection, but I do see a very, very small difference.
I can't tell the difference at all, to be honest.
Maybe we should put into
Neither
Photoshop
can
and get
I.
the color codes. We
That'd
can do that
probably
some
be
other time,
smart.
though, because
Yeah,
we
we can
don't
do that
have
another
the time to do that.
So.
Yeah. Alright, shall we move on to... Do you have any more thoughts about this, or should we move on to Apple Dock Kit?
What is DocKit?
Apple Dock Kit is a new is a new standard that they're creating for connecting for means that third-party accessories can use to connect to iPhones, as there's currently a Insta360 gimbal, I believe, that supports Dock Kit, which allows for tighter integration with iOS.
That's cool.
And works in the default camera app, so...
It's actually cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I agree.
Yeah, I kind of like that. And from the perspective of, we all know Apple's famous for their first-party accessories working so well. I think putting out a technology that they can license, for one, that's going to make Apple more money, and two, that's going to make the ecosystem even wider. So,
Yeah.
I don't think I can...
Do you guys
Yeah, just
remember?
like to find my network.
Do you guys remember around 2015 when Apple was really trying to get that ecosystem thing just right, and they put Lightning on game controllers, and they were licensing out Lightning to third-party accessories?
I do remember that.
That was
Oh,
So
I
stupid.
don't, but I was also 7, so
It was so stupid. I went to the Apple store. They had like game controllers with a lightning port on it. I think some Beats headphones used lightning. Only a couple though. I don't think a lot of them did.
Yeah, not a lot of them did.
Like the
well,
the
Beat
Beats
Apple
X I
owns
know did.
Beats.
Hmm.
Beats X was an absolutely great pair of earphones, by the way. Um, I have a feeling that the solos of some sort of solo or studio. I don't know. Most of those used micro for no reason though.
Yeah. That's a standard nobody should use today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's cool. Glad to see the ecosystem functionality expanding.
Yeah.
Remember, I do actually remember one part of how the lightning port was expanding.
What part?
I think a lot of I think a lot of fake iPhone clone manufacturers were able to make them with real lightning ports because Apple is licensing it
Hmm.
out.
I would not be
I
shocked
mean,
if
I
that were the
guess.
case.
So as a result, that's when you
I
saw.
mean, I guess that all they
So
really
that's
had to
why.
do is solder in a lightning port from like an iPhone 6 or something. Some, cheap used old iPhone. iCloud locked one, I guess.
The iPhone 6 wasn't exactly cheap back in 2015.
Well, I mean, seeing as Apple used Lightning until the 14s came out, 15s, whatever. When the 15 was a week from being announced and the 14s were still the latest phones being made, or these fake ones were being made with Lightning ports still, I think the iPhone 6 was
I
kind of
don't.
old and obsolete by that point.
Yeah, I don't. I was talking like in 2015 or 2016 when the iPhone clone videos, at least the videos about them were really popular. I don't know. I don't know about now
They
though,
still exist, they're
because
just
not
not
only the
really prevalent for good reason. They were awful.
and I mean you can also just buy. I mean, part of the reason why they're not as popular is because number one, everything Apple Pro isn't making videos on them
Or
anymore.
anything to my knowledge.
Yeah, and number two, at this point, especially like with USB-C, especially like manufacturers can easily duplicate that.
Yeah, USB-C is an open standard, so
Yeah.
I'm
Honestly,
just waiting for
every
somebody on.
day, every day I keep wishing that my iPhone did have USB-C. It's
Yeah,
just give me this with a USB-C port.
yeah.
Why don't you just buy an iPhone 16 Pro or 16 Pro? I'm sorry, 16 Pro Max when it comes
I'm
out.
probably gonna
That way I'll have you. It won't be the.
I'm probably going to do the 17 series when that comes out because that will be at the end of the contract for my 13 Pro Max. So,
It's a good idea.
Oh.
yeah, I'm going to wait for that contract to expire.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna wait for the 7.
In fact,
Hey,
actually
so one
this
thing I
time,
can recommend you do,
yeah.
one thing I will recommend you do, either on your XS Max or your 13 Pro Max, if you really want USB-C, there's a way to get it without even opening your phone up. Just look on Amazon for a cheap battery case,
Oh yeah, I know
and
about those.
you can you can get USB-C. It won't work with data though, which is the main reason to do USB-C. My
Well, yeah,
biggest
that's the
thing
reason why I
is
want
it doesn't
USB-C. It's that way I can. I never when I'm just purely charging the device, it's always wireless charging.
wireless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when it's
I'm
always I'm
surprised
plugging it in when I want data and specifically CarPlay. So
I'm surprised you weren't sad to see MagSafe go because MagSafe, in my opinion, not the battery packs. If you guys have seen my latest video, you guys know what my issue with that is.
yeah,
I'm surprised that you haven't I'm surprised that you haven't missed MagSafe yet and went back to the 13 because MagSafe is massive technology for wireless charging.
I do like MagSafe, and that's how I charge the 13 Pro Max.
Hmm.
But
You know,
in terms of the
on
magnet
that note,
functionality, I know that it's primarily for the other accessories, and I just when it comes to stuff for my iPhone, I don't really get accessories. Like I've never gotten a pop socket for any of my devices. I almost go caseless the entire time.
I hate those.
It's
yeah.
I don't often get accessories for my phones because I don't want to carry around more accessories.
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
I just like
I have a MagSafe case on my phone, but I have no.
what case are
I
you
literally
using
have
right
no
now, by the
use
way?
for it. Oh, I'm still right now. I'm rocking my iPhone 14 Pro leather case.
Okay, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's an official Apple
And
You
one.
then
know,
what I
on my
have for
MagSafe video.
and then what I have for
Sorry.
my 13 Pro Max and my 10s Max is a bunch of Surich clear cases. So
You have a bunch
well,
of them.
I have two for my 10s Max, but one of them's broken, which is why I got the second. In fact, I don't recall the last time I've ever put this back on my 10s Max. So
Oh,
You know, on
this I do use
MagSafe,
all the time. So
I actually got a lot of unfortunate comments on that video, but I'll read off some.
all right, go for
Whoa,
it.
this guy says Apple's MagSafe battery pack is bad because it stops charging once the phone gets hot, and also he says proprietary MagSafe battery packs, whatever that means, are bad because they let the phone overheat. The phone will get quite warm when charging, but that's to expect. You're using it for the easy and convenient small form factor. So I said, so let me know, what good is a battery if it can't reliably charge your phone? And he says, mine charges my iPhone 100% of the time. It's proprietary, so it does not generate more heat. But so it does generate more heat, but not
MagSafe
excessively.
is proprietary.
And then he starts talking about Pokemon Go. He starts talking about it always charges fine. It generates some heat, but he never uses it to the point of the slowing down. And he says he uses an iPhone 15. And I said, I'm glad to hear you've had a better experience, but it seems you've forgotten about a major part of tech review. Different people have different experiences. I am unfortunately on the end of the people who had a bad experience.
And
he
one
didn't
thing I know
respond.
about your experience is
Then
it is
he
not
says,
uncommon.
there we go with the reaction thing again. But
Yeah,
I also
that's
got a
alright.
comment. This guy says,
Look at this disgusting case.
oh, SPAC. But this guy says, the comment about you changing phones every 2 months is not a thing to brag about, in my opinion. I said, never said 2 months, never bragged about switching phones anyway. Try again next time.
Yeah.
No response.
Hasn't it been 10 months since you switched phones?
Yeah. And before that, it was almost a year. And this guy, I get another 70 it doesn't stop, or it stops charging past 70%. And every time, there's only been like 2 people who have responded to me. And then there was an argument in my comments about somebody being an Apple fanboy.
Oh, good. Oh, you think that's bad? I'm getting a bunch of comments about my voice, so
What about it?
yay. Apparently people don't like how I how I emphasize the end of every word I speak, even though I can't control my voice.
I mean, I've never really thought that as an issue. I've never even really noticed that, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of people. Yeah, it's just like there are some haters out there that are. So, again, people will comment stupid things for no... Oh, I got another a comment on my video about how Macs... About how... You know my video about how Macs suck because they can't game, even though I said why. And then I said... And I even said that Macs... And in that video I mentioned that how Macs can game with more steps like of Steam, even though a lot of games do natively support the Mac. He said, well... I got this first comment that said, so you got more what am I trying to say? He said, so you just literally just admitted that it's easier to game, that you have to use more steps to game on a Mac. And then I said, yes, so, and then he said, so the video is wrong, even though I mentioned how gaming doesn't really matter. And then I said, "Bahaha, you're so stupid for liking and hearting your own comments." So I hid him from my channel.
Yeah, I never really have understood why you heart your own comments, but he obviously didn't have a... he obviously didn't have a reason to come back at you, so he just changed the subject entirely.
Yeah.
That's what people try and do. It's so funny.
I heart my own comments just because I like them. That's why.
Yeah.
And so to push my
You
own
guys
comments
have
up
got
What
there.
if you make a comment that you don't like?
Yeah.
I read that entire comment and the replies.
Which one?
I got a new comment on my Windows 11 rant, and I've never seen someone so... He's trying to twist my words to make me look like I'm a complete idiot, except he makes himself look like a complete idiot. So... Do you want me to read the whole
It's so
comment?
funny when people try to do that. Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yes, please.
This video just screams, you did not want to give Windows 11 a shot.
Yes, you did.
Likely due to your stance on 10, and just work backwards from there. First off, he likes to go number off for your information. First off, macOS is not free. Wrong.
Yes, it is.
It is free.
Well, it's free if you have the hardware. It's like saying, it's funny to me because it's like saying, so you know how if you buy an ID.4, you get the 500 kilowatts that electrify America? It's like
500
saying that
kilowatt
power
hours,
isn't
but yeah.
free. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Mhm.
But because that power is free, because even though you paid for the car, you don't pay for the power. You know, you're not buying the car from Electrify America. You're buying the car from Volkswagen's,
But here's the
dealer.
way that I
Then-
know it's free. Here's how I know it is technically free. What
So-
happens if you try to build a Hackintosh? How much does
You
the
want to,
operating
you can
system
get the
license
OS.
cost?
$0.00.
As long as you have a Mac to download it.
Actually, you can download it without a Mac. It just requires a hacky way to do it, but there's no fee.
Torrenting?
I think
Well,
it involves
technically-
going into the terminal. I know that. It involves going into the terminal, but there are ways to download macOS without a Mac.
We might have to cut this part out of podcast because I know YouTube's policy is a little bit strict on Hackintoshing.
It is.
I don't even know who's editing the show today, so
Or
whoever's editing, maybe.
actually, no, we don't have to cut it
but,
out.
Yeah. So for one, macOS is free, and here's the rest of his comment. If you have to pay for a Mac to get macOS, again, you don't have to. Something you acknowledge what people would do. Then macOS is not free. Yeah, again, all right, I polished that off. Second off, here's the most. This is where he looks like a complete idiot. Second off, you got the specs of that laptop wrong. It is an 11th gen i7 with DDR4 RAM, going off Dell's website.
You made that video 2 years ago.
And not to mention, when I made my XPS review, if I recall, I think I actually featured a screenshot of it spec'd out on Dell's website.
He clearly did not watch that
Yeah.
video because, again, if you watch my tutorial on how to write a YouTube comment, that's one of the most important things.
So he tries to say, I don't even know the specs of my own laptop. That's just wrong. So it's a 12th gen Intel i7 with 16 gigs of DDR5 memory. And yes, I have confirmed it's DDR5. It's not hard to look that up. As for my issues, supposedly, it seems that it running slow was a thing amongst the laptops themselves rather than Windows.
Oh, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
It is not.
Don't twist me. Don't twist me. It is still something that should not happen. And this ain't on... But this ain't on Windows. It's Dell.
It's on both of them.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not on just Dell. Microsoft is responsible for some of this too. So,
Yeah.
all right. Third off, why is it that Dell gets a pass for needing to go to their website for their drivers, but then Nvidia is but when Nvidia is asking for them, that is Microsoft's fault. Even ignoring I don't understand this comment. It makes no sense. I'm not sure what he's talking about in this comment at all.
Yeah, I don't recall you talking. Yeah, It's been a couple of years since I watched that video, but I don't recall you ever talking about anything relating to Nvidia in that video.
All right. Fourth off, this is another dumb one. You were expecting huge feature updates from updates that are designed to fix security issues, smaller fixes to vulnerabilities. Why are you
When does Windows fix?
Why are you expecting big new
When does
features
fi-
in security updates? This is why you see huge marketing campaigns for stuff like Copilot, because that is a major feature update.
Copilot didn't exist when you
Yeah,
made that
BS.
video.
Yet Windows cumulative Defender updates are just some security fixes. So he's trying to say, why do I care
I'm
about
sorry.
this stuff? I don't know. Don't you think there's a good reason to care?
I mean, it's okay if you're. Yeah, it's kind of important to care about how secure your computer is.
So he's saying security updates and stability updates don't matter. It's okay if the computer crashes all the time. It doesn't matter.
Why do I suspect that this is a Linux user?
not. He's a Windows 11 user. That's why he's defending Windows 11.
Oh, good lord.
Fifth off, there is absolutely ways to view PDFs out of the box on Windows. It's called Edge. Granted, I don't know.
Who uses
Okay, yeah,
Edge?
here's the problem that I think everybody does not realize with Edge. Edge is not a PDF reader. Okay, period. It is not a PDF reader. What it is doing is when Windows sees, oh, this is a PDF, I don't have a default PDF application. What it's doing is it is opening Microsoft Edge and going to the internet to find a web-based PDF reader. That is what it's doing. Edge is not a PDF reader. It's just going to the internet to
That's
find
what
one.
I thought.
So, I don't know how many times I've had to explain that, but it drives me nuts. So yeah, he's trying to say, there is a default PDF reader. No, there isn't. When you have to go to the web to find one, you don't have a default PDF reader. Sixth off, right-clicking Start is not the only way to access Task Manager. You can right-click the taskbar and, okay, at the time when I made this video, it used to be with Windows 11, in order to pull up Task Manager, you could not right-click on the taskbar and have an open Task Manager that way. You guys know how that works, right?
I haven't used Windows 11 that much, so I don't really. But
You know what I'm talking about, Tabby, right?
Want to repeat that real quick? I was just writing something down.
So, you know, on Windows, to open Task Manager, all you have to do is right-click the taskbar, and then it's in the pop-up menu, right?
Yeah, you used to not be able to do that on 11, right?
Yeah, precisely. You used to not be able to do this. They have since fixed that since I have uploaded my Windows 11 video.
Yeah.
So,
When you're done,
Also,
refresh
didn't
the,
you explain that you-
page and look at the comment I left this guy.
all right. So,
Oh
Okay.
boy.
Oh, then he also makes a comment about shortcut keys. I probably should have mentioned this. On certain computers, I can't get certain shortcut keys to work. For example, on my computer, I can use the print screen key to actually pull up snipping tool to create a snapshot. And supposedly, I've looked up on the internet, you're supposed to be able to push print screen on your keyboard to pull up snipping tool so you can take a screenshot. I've only gotten that to
that
work
does
on
not work
my
for me.
computer. It doesn't work on any other computer I've tried.
That does not work on any computer I've ever tried.
And I didn't change any settings. Okay, this was how my laptop worked out of the box. And Google says that print screen is supposed to pull up snipping tool so you can take a screenshot. Why does it only work on my computer and not on other Windows 11 computers?
The only thing I could think, possibly, you need a specific version of Windows 11. Maybe it doesn't work on Pro or it only works on Pro, something like that. I have no idea.
Well, I have Windows 11 Home, which is on most laptops and desktops.
Huh.
So, yeah, I am very much confused by this. So, he's trying to say, well, if that doesn't work, then why didn't you use the shortcut keys? Well, sometimes they just don't work because when you have inconsistencies on what takes a screenshot and various other hotkeys as well, some other hotkeys I just can't get to work on certain computers.
I've never.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I've never had an issue doing Command Shift 4 on a Mac keyboard
Yeah.
or whatever.
Neither
I
have I.
change all my hotkeys, but I changed my hotkeys
Neither
to
have
Command
I.
Shift 1 for to allow me to screenshot a selected portion to clipboard, so I don't just have my whole desktop full of random screenshots. But still, every Mac, unanimously, I can go back 20, 30 years. Command Shift 4. At least Mac OS 10. I don't know about, you know.
Yeah, so that's essentially what's this? So yeah, sick stuff. All right, so there's finally 2 paragraphs left. And if you cannot claim that I am coming from a place of recency bias because you cannot claim that I am coming from a place of recency bias because I joined the Windows 11 kit a month before you uploaded this video. Well, you must have forgotten a few things then, if that's the case. You are not interested in actually using Windows. And you use this video to vent out your frustration, not with Windows or Microsoft. Oh, that is not true. But because your boss wanted you to use it instead of your Mac. That's also not true. In fact, my boss hates using Windows too.
Yeah.
Oh, good. That reminds me of one time. One time when I wrote a little essay rambling on my school's state standards. My mom literally just thought I was complaining about getting a low grade on a test.
So, yeah. Okay, here's Tabby's comment that he left, by the way. I just refreshed. I think you might have this video wrong. You're just looking to defend your problematic OS. But I think that the issue lays between your chair and your monitor. And your problem is definitely not the keyboard. I happen to agree. Oh, that was funny. So, yeah, I thought my MacBook comment was more dumb. No, this tops it. This tops it. I can't believe how big of a fool he absolutely made himself. I made a comment that replied to all of his points, addressing the whole the hotkey things not being consistent across computers. And dude, I know the specs of my computer, and like he eventually reacted to my comment, and like the one that got me the most is he's like, "Well, why didn't you tell me that it was the 9720 model? I didn't know that."
I think he did.
So if you didn't know that, then why did you bother trying to correct me? I'm like, if you think you know better, then I don't. I've never seen a comment more stupid than that. Because yeah, I mean, when I talked about Vision Pro, a lot of it was, again, what's the point of this? And then the Samsung video I recently came out with, talking about their Apple knockoff products. Apparently a lot of people didn't like that because it's not doing very well. And then one of the only comment on that video saying, "Dude, you are so out of touch."
Wow.
Samsung's out of touch, not you. Now shall I move on to how Apple and Microsoft are dodging a dumb organization?
Sure.
Or 2 dumb organizations, actually.
Sure.
So Apple and Microsoft have both departed their seats in OpenAI's board, so that way they can avoid the European Union.
Really?
Yep.
Huh. That.
I said it's a good
Yeah,
move.
I mean, anything to avoid the EU is a good thing at this point, and also
Yeah.
anything to demote OpenAI, in my opinion, at least, is a good thing at this point, because they're putting out some of the
Yep.
scariest crap I've ever seen. So
Yeah.
good for Apple. I told them. We've been telling them they need to start pulling out of this EU BS.
Maybe Tim Cook is watching or listening to this podcast.
I think finally they've had enough of the whole pressure. I mean, I know that the purpose of not bringing Apple Intelligence to the EU. I'm pretty sure that the purpose of doing that was to test the EU out and to test the people who do live in the EU to realize, hey, because of what the EU is doing, we're not getting us cool stuff.
Yeah.
And then I found it hilarious when the EU decided, nope, you're going to bring it to us. So I guess Apple's doing everything in their power to make sure they can't to actually raise the point. So.
All right, shall we move on from people who are very well read, and I don't mean very well read like in literature. But how about we move on from that subject to Windows Notepad?
Notepad. I'm trying to think, how many document editing apps do they have and how many of them are useless?
Pretty sure Notepad is just the basic one that doesn't even really have like text sizing, right?
Was it that or was it WordPad?
Yeah.
I think it's Notepad.
No.
I think WordPad was something
All right,
else.
well-
I think that was like a PDF creator.
No, it was not.
Right?
WordPad
Actually, I should know
had-
this because in some of my earliest videos on YouTube where I did computer races and such, one of my tasks was create a document using WordPad, export it as a PDF, and lo and behold, when you happen to go save the document, there's no PDF option.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, WordPad is just a document. WordPad is like a free version of Word, but
It's worse.
Windows Notepad is kind of like sticky notes on notes.
You know, I
but
actually like
on the
Windows
Mac
Notepad
OS.
a lot. It's so simple. You just open it up and you use it. It's the one thing on Windows that always works. Never failed. Except for when Windows doesn't want me to open anything or whenever my computer blue screens, but that's...
I mean, that's a given, so...
All right, well, Windows Notepad just got autocorrect and spell check.
It took how long to...
Just 4 decades, which, I get that autocorrect and spell check didn't exist 4 decades ago, but still took about at least a decade and a half too long.
I can't believe an application like that is missing that basic of a feature.
Yeah.
It's so dumb. Then again, I guess it's to be expected. It's from Microsoft, so...
I don't think that program has been touched since like Windows XP.
Yeah.
Most of Microsoft's stuff hasn't been touched since Windows XP though, so that's...
No, I'd say it hasn't been touched since
That's
Windows
true.
7.
Yeah.
No, nothing. No Windows program has been touched since Microsoft DOS.
Mm. Damn.
How is it so easy to bash this?
I mean, they've somewhat been touched, but still. All right, well, now I've gotten that topic out of the way. Shall I move on to another issue regarding gaming PCs?
Sure.
Alright, so 13th and 14th generation Intel CPUs are sometimes crashing when gaming, and the fix that has been released to the BIOS is causing computers to lose 9% of their performance.
9%.
Ouch.
Yeah.
And like the only valid reason people have to use Windows, the whole gaming reason, guys, this is why we tell you Windows sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is why it sucks. Class A reason. What more do you need? It can't even do the thing that you want it to do well.
And I mean, when can Linux game properly?
Well, if you code
Yeah,
it right, it
that's a good
can,
point.
but that's the thing. You gotta code it. You gotta work on it. That's how Linux works.
And do you expect most 10-year-olds that want to play Fortnite to be able to know how to code it on Linux?
Well,
I'm sure some can, but not many.
yeah.
Classic Windows, it's just classic Microsoft. I don't understand why they insist on actually sucking this bad.
Microsoft is just not the jam or whatever.
Yeah, if you want to talk
Yeah.
about companies out of touch with their audience, I think Microsoft would be one of them.
Yeah.
If you ever wonder why so much of Microsoft stuff fails, it's because people don't associate Microsoft with good things. People associate Microsoft with Windows crashing.
And the computers that their school, library, and work use.
Yeah.
So pretty much when... I don't know about you guys, but I don't like school. Libraries piss me off. And I definitely wouldn't like having to go into work every day for 10 hours and use those computers. So when all the three things that Microsoft is known for, basically, where those computers are most prevalent. Because I've never seen a Mac in a library. I've never seen a Mac. Well, I've seen some Macs at some schools.
Actually, my school library does have some Macs.
Well, that's surprising, but those three things, you don't really want to have your company associated with. Schools, libraries, and work. That's the most boring places you can get. What else? Because I think a farm is more exciting than a damn school or a library.
Oh, yes, it definitely is.
At least John Deere has a name of, cool tractor stuff, even if they have a little bit of a weird history, with right to repair or whatever. I don't know. But Microsoft, they're just associated with work, and some people associate it with gaming, but are you really, DirectX is essentially just turning it into an Xbox, so...
Yeah, but I don't even understand why workplaces would want to use Windows aside from that one application that... Seriously, if you can
Allegedly
avoid Windows
everybody
altogether,
needs.
I would never buy a Windows PC.
Yeah.
There's
I don't
no
think
reason
that
to.
There's not. There really isn't a reason to go out and buy Windows right now, unless you're gaming. Even
Or
then,
if you need that one application.
If you really don't, want to use Windows, you could buy an Xbox. Not going to be nearly as good. Because I will admit, I do have a PC for gaming. It's been giving me constant issues since I built it, but that's Microsoft.
Yeah, it's like... I think the real gaming enthusiast device has got to be the Wii.
Enthusiast, I don't know, but
I think it's becoming more the PlayStation now, because you see a lot more people talking about gaming on the PlayStation than Windows.
well, I think for enthusiasts, it is always going to be PC. But for just general casual players, I have a PS5 for casual gaming. I know you guys don't game, but you guys don't find it enjoying, but I do find enjoyment out of it, and whenever I just want to casually sit down and play some games, I go to my PS5. I don't go to my PC because I don't feel like I want to game on my PC, not work on my PC. And then I'm going to start working on my PC.
So that way you can game on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, why would you work to play game? Why would you work on something just to play games? Like, unless you're one of those people that can somehow manage to make money off of video games,
Well, if you can do that,
why
more
would you
power to you.
bother
That is good for you, honestly. That is actually something that I would like to do. Even though I've heard 90% of your day is editing and only 10% of it is playing game. Because think of it, you get a 15-minute video, you play a game for an hour, you edit that video for 10 hours to try and get, that video down to a 10-minute pretty much condensed version where you just have nothing but action, because you know how people's attention spans are now.
Oh yeah.
oh yes, I should know this plenty from my I should know this plenty from my YouTube comments.
Yeah.
So I think that's enough bashing of Microsoft for
half
one
the time.
thing.
I don't
think-
understand who is defending Microsoft. Like, I want to know what these people look like. Like, honestly, I want to see what these people look like and like how they act in real life. Because if you're going up to random people at the library or Starbucks, hey, your Mac, it's awful because I like my PC, and here's 10 reasons why my PC's better.
All of them related
You're
to
not
gaming.
you're not making friends that way. You're gonna get your ass kicked. I hate to say it that way, but that's just the truth. You go telling people, what they should and shouldn't believe in, they're not gonna take it lightly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're not going to. Yeah, they're not going to necessarily. If you're more patient, then you won't necessarily try to violently fight back. But
Well, patience is
depends on.
patience is not something that I'd say most people have nowadays, right?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I have more. Yeah, I have more I have more patience than some people, but I also have less patience than some people.
Oh, I just remembered
Yeah, I was never-
another recent story about Windows, and this time it involves my Windows PC enthusiast grandfather.
Yo, what is that?
So, we're having a bit of an issue with getting my computer to access one of the drives on the server at work. And it's just my computer, because of course it's Windows inconsistencies. So, my grandpa being the tech-savvy Windows enthusiast, who also knows a crap ton about networking, he came into work one day to actually try to get everything working, and I think we finally got him to admit Windows is not where it should be.
Yeah.
He said it!
Finally!
He said it, that Windows kinda sucks the way it is right now.
Well, I would honestly agree, since at least out of the ones I've talked to, all my classmates that have PCs use them for gaming, and I actually have,
I think Alpha
Not
is
many,
the only
but I
one
had
here
some
who
Mac
actually
users.
uses Windows on a daily basis. I use it maybe on a weekly
I was
basis.
on Windows all day
Um,
today.
Yeah, I barely use Mac on a daily
I nev-
basis anymore. I'm on my iPad more than my Mac anymore, honestly.
I don't use Mac OS on a daily basis, but I use it more on a every 3 or 4 day basis at least. Sometimes on my Mac more like when I'm making my Apple collection video.
I mean, I'll use my
But
Mac,
sometime-
5-6 times a week, but there's definitely maybe, some weeks there's 2-3 days I just don't even touch it.
Yeah,
busy.
but I am the only time I ever use Windows is when I'm at school and I have to use the school's Windows computers, which again, brings Microsoft's reputation of being a school and a boring company.
Let me guess, your school uses Lenovo ThinkCenters?
We actually, yeah, my school uses those a lot of Dell towers, and there was one classroom I think with IMAX, and then the school library has IMAX, and the classroom for what that has the IMAX is I believe a digital arts class.
Makes sense.
Wow.
I believe, which yeah, that would obviously have to be Mac only, but otherwise. I mean, some of the teachers actually have Macs, which again just goes to show you how much Windows sucks.
Didn't your high school used to have Macs, and then they switched to Windows right as you were getting in? Or am I mistaking that for your old school?
No, I thought there were more Macs. I thought there were more No, turns out. No, I thought there were Macs in more places. Turns out I was just walking by the digital arts room. Yeah, my old school, middle school, I don't believe. Now again, I've not been back in the building since 8th grade ended, but I don't think they have ever had Macs.
Yep. I think we've beaten that horse to death at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh, we have another. That was actually a side tangent. So how about we go back to our next main topic, which is that Starlink StarDisk, the new Starlink StarDisk Mini, which combines a Wi-Fi router and the satellite portion into one portable device for $599.
Oh, yes!
Not awful. How much is the service a month?
I don't know.
Dude, I keep
I actually know
debating.
somebody who uses Starlink.
Yeah, I keep debating because you guys know how bad my internet sucks here. Whenever it comes to anything video related, I always have to go to the office to upload it. I cannot do it here.
Wow.
In fact, actually, doing a video call like this is about as much as the internet can handle consistently. Anything more than this, it goes out.
Yeah, I would assume so.
It's bad. It's terrible. And we're on provider number 3 for this area.
Wow.
It doesn't list how much the service is for Starlink at 1 month for 1 month, but I actually one of my mom's friends has Starlink, and as my parents have recently split, so my dad's moving into a new house. He actually has Starlink at his new house.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, I think he likes Starlink.
So that was the family drama that was going on.
Yep.
You doing okay?
You want to know when I found out about it? Or when it first started?
When?
December 26th.
Wow.
That's how long I waited before I told the internet.
Yeah, I was definitely not expecting that.
Have you noticed how my enthusiasm for YouTube went a little bit down back in January and February?
Maybe a little
Like
bit.
I was having a lot of trouble coming up with video ideas. Like, that was why.
I thought it was literally because it was just a dry season. Wow. You did a good job hiding that, but I mean, hey, I'm sorry that I don't know how else to put it. That does suck, and I hope you're doing okay with that.
Yeah, me too.
It's still it's a little bit harder to process, but I'm managing to handle a lot more. And this summer vacation has definitely helped me kind of get my old self back and get a lot more into tech again.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need to
that.
push
All right,
this
gang.
out any further. So
Yeah, we do. All right, shall I move on? Do you have anything more to say about Starlink?
Right. I never finished. I want to get Starlink. I really do. It's just I need the monthly bill to decrease.
How much is the monthly bill?
Right now, for the home internet dish, it's about $100 a month.
Hmm.
So,
How much
I mean,
would it
that is
just
a
be
little
like
bit
all
more
in all?
expensive than. Actually, no, it's not more expensive than my family's Xfinity, I believe.
it, well, yeah.
How much would it just be like the whole thing all in all every month?
Um, well, the dish itself costs what, $500, $600, and then the monthly service is $100 a month.
Oh, so there's not like any. It's just $100 a month flat. There's nothing else.
Nothing else that I'm aware of, at least. But the thing is, I don't have $100
Oh,
to spend every month like that. I'm still making car payments. I'm trying to save up for a house.
All right, so shall we move on to Tabby's ID.4?
yeah. I am
All right, so what do you think?
more than impressed with this thing. Um, did you guys all watch through my original like first impressions video on it?
Yep.
Oh yes, that was an awesome video.
You guys saw how enthusiastic Rob was around that car,
Oh
right?
yeah.
He loves that thing.
Oh yes.
And he gets to ride.
I think he thinks it's Robalicious.
I would assume so. He rides in a Model 3 almost every day, and he says he prefers it
Yeah.
over the Model 3.
I'm wondering if that's just because it's different.
I'm thinking that
Something
too
new and
because he also
different.
prefers it. He also prefers it over my car.
Yeah, because I mean,
Yeah, that's what I thought,
I
too.
mean, until I never became a big car enthusiast until I was 15 and started driving on 14 and 15 when I was getting ready to drive.
Yeah.
And once Alpha joined this podcast and made this into an automotive podcast.
Yeah, but what I was thinking, honestly, I am more than a fan of that. And I
Really?
think it made me go from like kind of thinking one day I'll have to go with an EV. Not going to be the greatest thing ever, but it's still going to be nice. To one day I'm going to have to get an EV. It's going to be fun. Because I like being able to just go around to chargers. You know, it makes me go places I wouldn't otherwise have gone. You know, there's places that I go with chargers. I go to see cool places where, honestly, I wouldn't have gone to those places if it weren't for the chargers there. And I like that aspect about it.
Yeah, I mean, I love to go again. I love going out in public. I love to just go. Now I have a driver's license. I love just taking every opportunity I can get if I have errands to run and just go.
Yeah, and another thing, I was more than surprised about the comfort and the tech that car has.
That's the 2024 model year, right?
I'm not.
Yeah, mine's a 24S, or my family's is.
So that means it should have the new and improved software.
I'm not sure the S got that. I think that's only from the Pro, but the software is not half bad.
I thought that all but the very
I-
base model got the new software.
Huh.
It,
I'm not sure. Maybe it does.
I don't remember. What is the base model? Where does S fall in that lineup?
The S might be the base now.
Hmm.
But the comfort is great. The seats are very soft, which is something I like. And I drive the Audi, you know, I drive the Audi probably a bit less than that right now because I am trying to keep miles off the Audi.
Yeah, I mean, it's on a lease compared to... Is the ID.4 on a lease too, or is that actually bought
Yeah,
and paid for?
of course it is, yeah. No, it's
Oh,
on a lease
too.
because
Okay.
that thing, the lease payment on that is great. Not going to go into specifics.
Yeah, dude,
But,
leasing EVs right now is this is one of the best times to lease an EV right now.
Yeah.
The deals are
the-
just so stupid. Like, actually, Kia, I heard that there's a Kia dealer in Fort Collins that has a lease deal so good right now, it's actually cheaper than payments on a smartphone.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about there's a few options. Kia, Hyundai, Volkswagen, Q4.
I would never buy a Kia or Hyundai.
Oh, dude, their EVs right now are on fire. They are amazing.
I just don't. My aunt has a Hyundai car, and she just always had issues with issues with its tires in particular. So as a result, I've just become
Issues with what?
so as a result, because I've heard other things about Hyundai and Kia just not being that great,
Oh, dude,
I just don't like
yeah,
They
those
did
car
basically a brand
companies
redesign not too long
or
ago.
that
yeah,
company.
they really upped their A game a few years ago. Like, I'd say when they came out with the Palisade and the Telluride, that's when Hyundai and Kia really started upping their A game because Telluride and Palisade, those are amazing cars. And then the EG&P line, the Ioniq 5, the EV6, the vehicles like that, they are
Hold on, I'm
smashing
getting a
vehicles
call right
to
now.
buy right now. Truly
I'll
impressive.
be right back. I'm getting a
Like
call.
maybe I'll have to.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll have to. Well, at least but again, I prefer Tesla.
I mean, yeah,
So
same here. But to me, the only other vehicle I'd consider right now, aside from a Tesla, is the Hyundai Ioniq 6. It truly is spectacular.
well, it's also a sedan, which helps because I mean the problem with car crossovers and SUVs, I've said before and I'll say it again, they are purely for meant for housewives.
And making automakers extra money. So
Yeah. So why would you want to drive a soccer mom mobile?
But yeah, Hyundai and Kia, I think you need to check out some of the newer ones because they are really crushing it as of late.
Yeah, I've heard that they've. Yeah, that's. I might. I'll see later. I'll see what they're like, but
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and unfortunately, we have to wait for Tabby to finish up his call because he's the one who's telling us about the ID.4.
oh, he's on.
Yeah,
a
he's
call?
on a call right now.
Sorry, I'm back. Had to
All
take
right.
a call. But
Yep.
CCS, the combo port, just made me realize how crazy the electrical grid is. Like, that thing pulls so much power. What is it, like 350,000 watts it can pull?
Yep, 350 kilowatt.
That's crazy. I mean, think of it. You can charge an iPhone on 510 watts.
Mm-hmm.
350,000. That's crazy. And then
I agree.
today, today we took it to, we took it a little bit far away, about an hour out, but, took it, while out, and there was an Electrify America charger that I charged on. You know, that went great. No issues. Well, one of the stations was down, actually, but luckily somebody left
Yeah.
the second station
I mean,
as I was
that's
coming in.
typical Electrify America. There's usually one down at every site you go. But
Yeah. And then, after that, I was very surprised because my mom drove it earlier. When I wasn't there, because it is her car.
yeah,
But, she's like, it drained 9%, and I was just around town. I'm like, what? Because 9% for just like a quick 5 or 10 mile drive. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, it drained 9%. I'm like, were you driving it hard? She's like, I don't think so. So I get in it, and it's like 91, which I'm confused about because it was 100% last night. So maybe it drained some overnight? I have no clue.
did you have it plugged in or no?
Not overnight, no.
So yeah, ID4s do have a
That's
phantom
wrong.
drain. That's completely normal.
Okay. Yeah,
So,
that
yeah.
confused me. But then I took it on the highway and I was driving all day with it, and it's just a nice car to drive. You know, I was on the highway, you know, it gets up to speed quick. It's got great braking, you know, just a good highway car. I like one pedal driving a lot. It's something that it helps me just it just helps me in general. And it's funny because whenever people tailgate me coming up to a light, I'll just slow down as slow as possible so they don't get to go on their phones on the light. You know, I'll just stay at like 2 miles per hour so they'll tailgate me. I'm like, okay, you want to do that? I'll sit at 2 miles an hour. I'll pull up to the light, waste all their time that they can, and it helps with that. But yeah. Besides that, great car. You know, it's got a wireless charger in it, which I like. I actually was able to fit a TV in it today, just a little 45-inch TV from Goodwill. And
What did you buy a TV for?
either testing out game consoles or a potential Smash Tech video. Either way, a $15 45-inch TV is not half bad. I'm sorry, $13.
So you don't know what you're buying. Are you going to see if the TV works or not? And if it doesn't, then use it for Smash Tech?
I think if I can't find a spot to put it, I was thinking about in the garage, but I don't have room in the garage. So I might just put it like in my basement somewhere, and if I can't find a space, I see it more as an investment because I've always wanted to smash a TV on Smash Tech. And I have a really funny idea where we go to an empty lot and we put it in the back of the Audi and we open up the trunk and we set up cameras and we do a launch in the Audi and the TV flies out. I think that would be funny. And if not that, then we'll just find something to do with it. I feel like that would be a really good video that people would enjoy.
Why don't you just sell it?
Well, it's not exactly the type of TV I'd want to sell because I don't think I'd want to burden anybody with the quality of this TV, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's not exactly...
Oh, it's not a good TV.
Oh, no, it's like... It was probably about $200 when it came out 10 years ago.
Wow.
Oh.
That's not good.
Yeah,
That's a bad
If it was
panel.
like a nice... If it was a nice TV, I would definitely, give it to Rob or something, but, another thing about the ID.4, everyone says, CCS is, like, awful. It's not as bad. I feel like, as enthusiasts, we just see the better option, and we're like, okay, CCS sucks because, NACS exists. But
Yep.
it's like, CCS, I've yet to run into a station that's just broken. I mean, I've checked plug share and made sure that, everything's looking good, but it's not awful. I like driving the thing a lot. And
Here's the thing, though. Wait till holiday season.
what do they break down around then?
The thing when it comes to Electrify America, and it has never failed, come holiday season, be it around Thanksgiving or Christmas/New Year's, or they're also infamous for Memorial Day weekend, their chargers always have some massive issue that just completely screws over EV drivers.
Yeah, I can see that
2020,
happening.
Yeah, in 2020, I-95 was completely shut down for Electrify America.
What?
Yep.
That's the longest north to south interstate.
I-95 Electrify America stations were completely shut down. You could not travel on Memorial Day weekend if you were in an electric car that used CCS.
Yeah, that's another reason why I like having the Audi plug-in hybrids.
Mm-hmm. Christmas of 2022. If you pulled up to any of Electrify America's new BTC stations, actually no, the old ones were affected by this too. They did not work. They got too cold and they stopped working.
Yeah.
Oh.
And I wonder why
2023.
people...
Yeah, 2023. The Signet Surge.
I remember.
That was the most
That was
painful
around
one.
Memorial Day weekend.
Started
What
out
happened?
around Memorial Day weekend, and it lasted through basically the entire summer. It was bad. It was real bad. Especially
Wow.
for chargers around here, because literally, I kid you not, all of the chargers in the Midwest are Signet units.
Damn.
That's not good. That is not good. That's not good for travel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 2024,
One thing I did wanna mention-
something happened again. I don't remember what, but yeah, still.
I guess I'm gonna
Typically
have
around
to,
holiday season, that's when EA
document
starts
that.
to show its true colors.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to document that. But one thing I did want to go by, a few things I like about the Audi more than the ID.4, and a few things I like about the ID.4 more than the Audi. So, the ID.4's got a bigger screen, I think, but the quality of the screen, not the same. The Audi's quality is better. I will say that.
That would make sense.
The bezels-
because,
The bezels are
mainstream to
non-uniform.
luxury. That would make more sense.
Yeah. the bezels are non-uniform on the ID.4, which just confuses me. I'm like, what is the point in making, you know? Um,
Mm-hmm.
on the Audis, it just looks higher quality. ID.4 has a lot of glossy plastic. Cannot stand that. I don't know why anyone thought that was a good idea. Now, the
I
Q5.
like glossy plastic.
It's
So
bad for fingerprints and scratching.
you like having your plastic trim scratch up after owning the car for a week if see, the thing is, I'm careful with it. Nobody else is. I mean, somehow I know who did this, fellow YouTuber. Not Rob, but I'm not going to name names. He knows who he is, though. He's probably listening.
I think I know
Um,
who you might be talking about.
I know.
why is there
Oh,
a
what did
big gash?
Elias do?
Why is there a big gash in the wood after you were smashing MacBooks in the back seat of my Audi?
Yeah, in fact,
Oh,
I don't think you guys know this, but I have a gash in the wood trim in my center console. Not from me.
Who
I do.
who did that?
Previous owner. The car came that way.
Oh. Yeah, that's the issue. Plastic, that's the reason I've been so hesitant on even looking at B9, B9.5 Audi S4s. I'm guaranteeing you, if I got any Audi S4 used at any point in time, the glossy trim is going to be destroyed. I know that because every single Audi with glossy trim that my family's owned, I've been in, the glossy trim has been wrecked. It has been just absolutely destroyed. And I've done my best to keep this car in as good of condition as they get, right? But it just so happens to be one person putting a phone down on that trim, that camera lens just rubs against it and it destroys it. And
Yeah.
I was able to get most of the scratches out, but I'm gonna try and do stealth film over it, XPEL stealth. I have it
I
planned
want to say,
out. Just
don't you
gotta
have
wait
more
for
of that Chrome Delete wrap left somewhere?
I don't want to do it myself because I do not trust myself with a blade around that thing's trim,
Fair
around the
enough.
inside trim. Because you can't tuck in the inside trim. You can tuck in the outside trim pretty easily though. But yeah, my plan. I have a couple plans for the Audi. Oh yeah, I guess I haven't really formally announced this publicly. I now am the Audi Q5 is mine now.
Officially.
Yeah,
So
finally.
what ultimately made you choose the Audi over the ID.4?
I just thought the Audi, I can do more cosmetic stuff too. And it's weird to think. I didn't realize how much I held the shifter while I was driving, so I kept reaching for the shifter on the ID.4. I'm like, oh, right, it's not there. But in the Audi, I'll, hold on to the shifter at, lower speeds, especially just because it's comfortable. And I thought, like, okay, the Audi, I've put so much care into keeping that thing in good condition. And if I didn't take the Audi, it would get driven 50 miles a month. So I'm like, it makes more sense for me to take the Audi and drive it, way more compared to me taking the Volkswagen and having the more expensive cars just sit there unused. You know?
that is
And
fair.
I also thought, like, maybe the gas will come in handy sometimes, to actually have a engine in there. I like the turbocharger noises too. Everybody loves turbo noises.
Well, I suppose as you're trying to
I
figure
hate
out DC
that.
charging with the ID.4 at the moment, I suppose the ID.4 is a bit of your way to get into the whole full electric lifestyle before you actually fully commit to your actual car being full EV.
Yeah. In a dream garage, I would have B8.5 S4 as my engine car and a Taycan as my electric car.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Taycans are so cool.
Oh,
But
I can't. I
the
saw
the
like five
ID.4.
different Tycons on my trip.
Oh wow. Yeah, they're.
Wow, I've only seen a couple of Porsches in person,
Oh, I've seen hundreds of
or three.
Taycans. Not even just in general, just on the road. Anyways, on the Q5, I just feel more at home. I feel like there's just more of a platform for me to mess around with, cosmetics because I'm not going to do anything performance. I don't want to void the lease or anything, but
Yeah.
But I'm actually planning on, so you know the Audi leather shift knob that they have.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pop that off and do Alcantara. I
Hmm.
found an OEM part for a good price, and I'm gonna do Alcantara there.
Good luck with that, because I hear removing a shifter like that is like one of the least easy things to do.
No, so I'm not removing the shifter itself, only the leather top. It just ends up it pretty much pops off like the back of an old Samsung. A lot more
Really?
secure than the back of an old Samsung, but I've like started to lift it up, and there's definitely like a little bit of it definitely feels a little bit like I can just pry it up. So I
Hmm.
might, ask, some sort of service. Yeah, I might ask like some service area. Is this something that I'd just be able to do in my garage? Um, I was thinking about having them replace the steering wheel with the perforated leather one. Only thing is, I don't really feel like having to go through the hassle of that,
Yeah,
because
meanwhile,
I
at some
wouldn't.
point towards the end of this summer, I'm definitely going to add the heated steering wheel to my car.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Oh, I'd say that's a good idea for living up in the
Yeah.
And I
UP.
was looking. Sorry.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, but I was also looking at I think I sent you guys a link. The cup holders with
Yep,
the
I saw
wireless
that.
charging pad. I want the wireless charging pad. The because I don't carry lightning in my car anymore. I have a USB-C cable in there, and I wish I could just have wireless in there. But everybody, all my friends have lightning, you know, and Rob has an SE3, so he's always using my lightning cable. But that's besides the point. I was also thinking this part has the cooled and heated cup holders. I don't
Mm.
know what I would really use that, but I mean, it would be cool to have. I don't
Nice to
think
keep
that was an
drinks
option on
cool.
the 23. I guess.
Yeah, that I would use that for
I
water.
actually prefer a lot of my drinks warm than cold.
Hmm.
The only time I actually like to have a drink warm is like sometimes is occasionally if I have a cold then I'll drink hot water to help so sort of ease it.
Mm.
But otherwise I don't really drink hot drinks because I don't drink coffee or tea or anything
I don't
like
mean like
that.
warmed, I just mean like room temperature, you know. But
Ugh, I cannot.
I hate
I'm not
room
a fan of
temperature
room
drinks.
temperature
I hate them
water.
so much.
I guess I'm alone on that one. But
Yeah.
the only reason I haven't
Well, I don't like soda
the only
period.
reason I haven't like gone forward and said, asked someone, "Hey, can this be installed?" is because I don't know if see this car wasn't optioned with that. I don't think there was even an option for this on the Q5, especially when I got it. So my thinking here is there is, I guess, an AC vent port in the part. I don't know if mine has the connection port. And that port, it's not like, if I don't put it in properly, it's not just like it won't be able to get cool air. I don't think it'll fit if that port is not there. So I got to
Hmm.
figure that out. Um,
Ooh.
and also have some black Q5 and S line and Quattro logos coming. Um, I think that's gonna look nice.
Mm.
But
Gosh,
there's
I hate Chrome Delete. I really do.
I like the silver on the Audi, but I just feel like I've been looking at it for years now because this is not the first Q5,
Yeah.
and it looks nice. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I just want to look at something different for now. I want something that'll I
I personally like the look of the Chrome
I
Delete.
want to have essentially this Q5 to the point where an Audi enthusiast goes into a parking lot, sees it, says that's the nicest Q5 on the road right now.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess Shelly. Well, well, I'm gonna have. Well, I'm gonna get. Well, I can understand that because I'm gonna get my car's infotainment system mods. That way, I'll hopefully have the nicest car at my school, which is, I have officially, I am getting CarPlay installed in my car.
Oh yeah, I'm a
Yay!
Finally.
How are you going about that?
There's a service center that is a bit of a distance for me, but I'll have to take it to there to get done. And I'm getting a Sony receiver for mine.
You know, you could try. So this is what it's called on Audis. It's called RS. Oh, just dropped the Z Flip 3. But it's called RS Nav. Essentially, you put pretty much another computer in, not like an ECU, but you put something connecting into the display, and it uses the original display. It just adds CarPlay functionality to the original ECU. You might be able to do something like that. Not sure if you'd want to keep the original ECU. Sometimes they put, drive mode select, that type of stuff in there. Not sure if Sony.
No,
Huh?
or no, I'm getting a new display because my car also isn't touchscreen, and so I would like to have a
Oh yeah,
touchscreen
that's
car
right.
display.
Mercedes of that generation didn't use touchscreen yet.
Well, the 2020 Q5 didn't have touchscreen.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I was actually more than
Mazdas
happy
today
without
still don't
having
have a touchscreen.
Oh, no way.
That's true.
I actually liked Audi's knob that they used without touchscreen. It just felt very intuitive on the Q5 when I was driving that thing.
I hate the knobs on my Mercedes infotainment system so much because it took me so many years because it is not all like you have
Unintuitive?
different ways to navigate different parts of the. It's very unintuitive. Yes, that's part of the reason why I'm getting CarPlay in my car, so that way I can have
CarPlay's the best.
intuitive infotainment.
CarPlay's the best.
Yeah, I'm stoked to have CarPlay.
I don't know how anybody can have a CarPlay enabled car and still put their phone on the windshield or something.
Yeah, I know. It's one of the most painfully
Oh.
dumb things I've ever seen.
Elias does that.
Wish.
I'm like,
I
why?
just wish they'd add satellite maps to Apple Maps.
Yeah, but of course Apple's so scared of, oh, people are going to be distracted looking at the satellite. No, they're not.
It's like, dude, that's how you know where your turn is.
So annoying.
Google
some of the
Maps
things
lets
that
me
Apple
use
does.
satellite maps.
Yeah.
Why won't Apple Maps?
I personally don't mind lack of satellite maps because again, how I usually drive places I usually look up directions ahead of time so that way I know where I'm going. And I also don't go that many places, but even if I did, I usually just listen to the audio directions of Apple Maps, like stay in such and such a lane to get to wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I especially learned on my trip to North Carolina. Oh, is it really nice when you have Apple CarPlay and it sucks when you lose it for a solid half an hour, 45 minutes?
What, did your phone die?
No.
No, it refused to connect.
Something happened in my car where it just outright refused to connect to my phone. I couldn't connect it via Bluetooth or USB. Nothing worked. And then I have the in-car nav on option with my car, so I tried to use that, and I'm driving down I-39, a major interstate. No clue where we were. The map was blank.
Yeah, that is,
I mean, I don't know if I consider I-39 a major interstate, but yeah, it's still, it should still show.
the same exact thing happened to me in the Q5 one time. Phone refused to connect, and I had to use the in-car nav. Of course, I was in a city. I was not in on an interstate. And I was following, my dad was in front of me. I was just following him because I was in the Q5. He was in his car, and I was just following him. I'm like, the car's navigation was trying to take me, like, around every turn. It's like it was trying to zigzag me through a road where I could just go straight.
Trying to match up with that as the crow flies, I guess.
I'm like, really? But,
Which is weird
ended up
because
having to-
doesn't it use if I recall, Audi's built-in navigation is extremely close to Google Maps.
I think it is, but I'm pretty sure Google Maps sucks in this area too because Google Maps always tries to give me that weird runaround too.
Oh yeah, I've learned Google Maps just sucks in general at navigation.
Yeah, Apple Maps has gotten so much better at navigation.
I've
Which
always used Apple Maps since Google Maps screwed me over.
I mean, Apple Maps is bad at launch, but you have to admit that Apple Maps is such
oh,
a good
they've come
app
a long
now.
way. They've come a long way
So
to the point where
here's
I'd
a
say
funny
they
story.
surpass Google.
In December of 2021, I've probably told this story before. There was this time where me and Big Sam, yeah, this goes way back to the Big Sam days.
Mm.
We went around my town. This is before either of us had a car. Either of us had, well, he still doesn't have his license and he doesn't have any plans on getting it, but this was before we could drive. So we were walking around, and we're about an hour or two away from home, walk. So we start, we put into Apple Maps on my 13 Mini, and we start going home, right? Now, here's where it gets funny, if you want to call it that. It decides to take us essentially the back way into our area, which is restricted. So it walks us an hour there, 45, whatever. And then we're an extra 45 minutes, an hour out. So we try and figure out how to get back home. It's not letting us put the other way in. Now, after that, I used Google Maps for about a year and a half. Because I was pissed off at that because it wasted so much. I had to call my mom and be like, "Hey, we're here," and I was like, "How the hell did you get there?" I'm like, I don't know. And then Google Maps ended up getting me mixed up in I believe, well, another major city. So I ended up going back to Apple Maps, and since then I've just had a better experience with Apple Maps. I
Yeah,
feel like Apple Maps interfaces better with CarPlay.
it's it's crazy how bad Google Maps navigation is, and I'm almost worried when I do get my Tesla. That's primarily what I'll be forced with if I want the car to precondition to charging stops. And the problem is, it relies on Google
Yeah.
Maps. It is Google Maps actually. So,
Yeah.
I might, if I get a Tesla, the one thing I'll see if I can modify it to have CarPlay because
I don't think you can do that.
because I am using CarPlay. There is no way I'm relying on Google Maps to get me.
the thing
Well,
is
I
though,
don't. Well, I
it's-
usually look up directions before.
the thing is though,
but
if you happen to go on a road trip in the winter time, you're definitely going to want to use that in-car nav if you want the car to charge fast.
Hmm.
What is
We'll have to see.
preconditioning?
Well,
So, when it comes to DC charging, batteries like to be at a specific temperature. In fact, this is why I find charging batteries in our smartphones a little interesting because, I mean, in theory, batteries are basically phone batteries scaled up, but so that's why I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the whole charging our phones thing. But when it comes to charging an electric car, the battery likes to typically be in a temperature range a little bit above average room temperature. It's usually somewhere in like the 80, 90 degree range, somewhere in there. So in the winter time, that's a problem because that means the battery's typically cold and it's not in its comfort zone of where it actually likes to charge. So to combat this, the car will essentially run a battery heater. It's a dedicated module that actually heats up the battery, or in some cars like Tesla's, they'll actually run the motors inefficiently and pull the waste heat from that and use that waste heat to heat the battery. So that way you can get full charging speeds when you plug in, even if it's below 0 degrees Fahrenheit.
All right, that makes sense.
So that might be another thing that the
Well-
ID.4 did on you. But if you navigated to a charging station in it, it might have started preconditioning.
Yeah, I think I did hear somewhere that 2024 brought preconditioning to ID4s.
Yeah. So it does technically eat into your range because you have to take energy out of the battery pack to do this. But typically it's to a benefit. The reason why you do that is because, well, you're going to a charging station to recharge this thing anyways. Might as well spend a little extra energy so that way I'm not at the charging station for as long.
So if I end up going on if I have to charge after sunset in the summer, it'd probably be like 60, 70. Should I do preconditioning or should I just leave it be?
You will still technically see degraded results, but nowhere near as much as in freezing cold temps.
All right. So it's probably
So
just
yeah, in
better
the
to just leave
summer,
it be and just do it
yeah, in the
do it
summer it's not that big of an issue. Though if you're trying to get from point A to point B fast and you need to stop at the charging station, then I would recommend using preconditioning actually, even if it's only like 60 degrees outside.
another reason why I love summer and I hate winter. I
Yeah,
am not looking
All right.
forward to
Well,
winter.
we have
yeah.
I,
All right.
I, I know we have three more topics to cover, and I also know that it's 7:49 p.m. where I am. So, shall I move on to Tabby's Z Flip 3?
Yeah, I'm gonna go through this quick because I have dinner waiting upstairs.
All right.
Nice phone, $55 Z Flip 3. Enjoying it so far.
$55?
Just having a flip phone. Yeah.
That's better than my $80 S10 Plus. Well, let me find it.
And tomorrow I have a $50 Motorola Razr coming in. So I'm
Dude, when you're done
definitely-
with those, can I buy them off of you?
So the Z Flip 3 possibly because I'm actually kind of thinking because this was so cheap, it does have a little bit of damage, which I'll show you. I might do a video just seeing how much I can just abuse it as a daily like secondary phone before the screen goes out. I can definitely help you find one for like under 60 though because they're prevalent out there.
Because
You know,
I
it is,
wanted to do a video where I actually try using a foldable because again, I've been slandering them so much in my commentary, but I have to reserve judgment until I actually try one. So
I like them because they're unique. You know, it's something that you don't see these every day. You know, people look at them, they're like, "Wow, what is that?" You know, it's just like it brings a smile to some people's face seeing these. Especially older people. Older people love these. I don't know why. They love seeing this type of stuff. And it's just a cool phone to carry around because it's so small that I can carry this with my 15 Pro, no issues. My 12 Pro Max, I got tired of carrying that thing. I have not carried that in like a month just because it gets so I don't know, it just I don't use a case on it, so it doesn't stay in my pocket. It slides out everywhere. Almost lost it once because of that, but definitely enjoying having a flip again. Have my Z Fold 2 next to me also. I've not used this one in a minute though. I actually was going to sell it, but then eBay decided to pull some stuff and I did not. But yeah, that's my Z Fold Z Flip 3. I mean, it's purple. Not my first color choice, but I'm not complaining.
Ooh.
Looks nice.
I actually have a purple wallpaper on one of my successes, or the purple one, which I know this is off topic, but where is that phone? Here it is. This phone is the one I have a purple wallpaper on.
Oh, that's cool. Oh, also another just like side topic. I got the Mophie juice pack for the iPhone 15 Pro yesterday, and no complaints so far. Besides, why doesn't it have wireless charging? The one for my 7 Plus had wireless charging.
that is a bit odd.
That is.
Yeah, I actually bought this case for the
what-
7 Plus to add wireless charging to it before I got the iPhone 10.
Oh, that's the old
Roku
Twitter app.
Oh, cool.
The old Twitter app. I missed that.
Yeah,
Actually, my Mac still has it.
I download the app.
I have the old Twitter app on what phone is it? It's one of
I believe on iOS 15 and higher, it makes you automatically download X. So as a result, if I open Twitter on it, would probably make me go to X. But I still have a bunch of phones with Twitter.
yeah.
Unfortunately, my 14 Pro is not one of them.
Yeah.
Fortunately, that app is nowhere to be found on my home screen. I have it buried in the app
You,
library.
you're off of Twitter again?
I have it in the app library. I hop on it every couple of days to see what's up. But let me just
dude, this past
say,
week has been a nightmare on Twitter.
yeah. But besides that, it is almost
Yeah.
9. What other topics do we have to go off?
We have iPhone 16. We have iPhone 16 rumors. which is that the iPhone 16, so number one, the iPhone 16's millimeter wave antenna is moving to the other side to make room for the capture button, which I've gone into this before, but I'll say it again briefly. I don't like the capture button because it voids the purpose of the original iPhone, not have many buttons. But again,
The action button can be a
millimeter wave,
capture
like
button
5G
if you want it
also,
to.
so.
Why do we need a second action button?
Yeah, precisely.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I mean, it's supposedly going to be able to be used like a physical camera, but the iPhone is meant to have touch controls, like on the touchscreen.
Why didn't 3D Touch have an actual focus thing then?
I know,
That would be
right?
cool as hell.
Yeah, like why not just bring back 3D Touch? Oh wait, because it makes too much sense.
It's like maybe Apple would have had an easier time getting me to buy one of their latest phones. Okay, yeah, they got me with a 13 Pro Max, but maybe they would give me an easier time buying one of their later phones if it weren't for something as simple as this.
Oh, I see you changed your wallpaper again finally after
Yeah, I finally did.
3 years.
Yeah, I've had the same wallpaper for actually, yeah, I think it was 3 years.
I think I change my wallpaper once a year. I've had the current wallpaper since
I change my
November.
wallpaper quite often.
I used to. I just decided I wanted to see how much burn-in my phone would get of the wallpaper. You know, my 14 Pro got the top dot from the always-on display burnt in really, really badly. Nothing else. The top dot of the time. Nothing else. Just a singular dot.
That is so weird.
That's why I have always on display to disabled.
Yeah, not the time didn't get burnt in. My cat didn't get burnt in. Just the dot. I'm like, what? But
yeah, that is weird.
Yeah. What else do we have to go over?
So Samsung's mixed reality headset is to release later in 2024.
Oh. Samsung mixed reality headset.
I'm pretty sure if I were to step out into the garden of cares, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to find anything. It's probably a famine out there right now.
How much you want to bet this is gonna act
Yeah, no.
like the Galaxy Home or whatever it was called, their HomePod?
When will that thing release again?
Speaker.
Oh wait a minute! Didn't Samsung get rid of Bixby?
No, they still have it. They just got rid of the dedicated button.
Oh.
Yeah, it's now press and hold the power button. That brings up Bixby.
Just like how. Wait a second! Isn't that just like?
Yep, that is exactly.
Isn't that just like?
That is
Siri on
exactly
the
how
iPhone?
you summon the Apple Assistant.
Yeah, geez, Samsung. I think Samsung's starting to copy Apple a lot more, which is a topic we went to last episode with Ramin.
The sheer
but
unoriginality is just so painful to watch. Even my grandpa, who's a Samsung fan, and my other friend that I mentioned, who is a Samsung fan, neither of them were impressed with what Samsung put out last week.
oh,
So, to that one commenter who said,
You know
this guy's out
Samsung's
of
screwing
touch,
up in
I
that
don't
case.
think so. I talked to some Samsung fan friends of mine, and not even they are impressed.
Frankie just walked on my computer, but is it still light where Alpha is?
Yeah. Aren't I technically the furthest west of us?
It's. Yeah, I just find that crazy because even though you're a time zone ahead of me,
I know,
you're so
right?
much further west.
That's the thing about UP, Michigan. We're so far west, but yet they still capture us in the Eastern time zone.
I think they have it. I think the meridians might change, which is what might change their paths, which is why they do that.
Not entirely sure.
But either way, shall I wrap the? Do you have any more thoughts about Samsung's mixed reality headset, or shall I wrap up the podcast episode now?
Samsung's headset will fail. That's about it.
Yeah.
The Vision Pro, just like how the Vision Pro is failing.
Just worse.
Did you see Apple's ad? What is it? It's their ads where they're showing Apple at work. That's what it is. Apple at work. It's a series they started back in 2019, where they have a group of 4 people working on making packaging, and they're using Apple products to do it. Well, they actually just released an ad today. This time in the series, it's out of office, and one of their teammates had to stay home because of an injury, and so he brought his office to his living room by putting on Vision Pro.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, like everyone's going to have $3,500 to bring an office into their house.
Especially because I don't think packaging people make that kind of money.
I highly doubt it. So,
I mean, I know they make $3,500, but you'd think they would probably want to spend it on other stuff.
like, okay, there is one thing of credit that I think I will give it, though. It was actually nice to see Vision Pro in action.
Yeah, that is a good point, because you don't really see Apple employees wearing Vision Pro very much. Wasn't there finally a picture of Tim Cook wearing an Apple Vision Pro?
I think an image finally came out. But that was the number one thing I wanted to see. The one thing I didn't understand. What am I supposed to use this for? And I think finally this advertisement gave some insight to it. And it was actually cool to watch that thing in action. Like, not just, we're watching a cinematic movie or taking 3D videos that nobody is going to be able to watch or share. It was nice to actually see it being put into, like, money-making scenario. It was actually nice to see that.
That is fair. And yes, Frankie, I apologize that you're having to look at Frankie's butt.
So, other than that, I'd say I think we've wrapped up the show.
All right. As always, thank you all for tuning in to another episode of the iTunes Fan Podcast. As always, I'm Teddy Maggart from the iTunes Fanboy.
I'm Casey Tech.
My name is Alpha DeWolf from the Random Alpha.
And as always, we are saying goodbye for now and peace out.
See ya.